question at hand concerns the acceptability of using wire nuts, specifically the large blue Scotch lock connectors for splicing number 6 American wire gauge, or XHHW wire and pole lights installed in a campus parking lot. The concern arose from an outside consultant stating that wire nut splices are forbidden by code on wires number 6 AWG or larger, requiring the use of bug nuts instead. To address this, we need to delve into the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and relevant industry practices. The NEC doesn't explicitly forbid the use of wire nuts on number 6 AWG conductors. The suitability of a connector depends on its listing and intended use. Connectors, including wire nuts, are tested and listed by organizations like Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, to specific standards. These standards define the range of conductor sizes, materials, and environmental conditions for which the connector is approved. Firstly, the connector must be listed for the specific application. This means it has been tested and approved for use with the conductor sizes and types involved, as well as for the environmental conditions of the installation which, in this case, includes outdoor exposure. Secondly, the connector must be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. This includes proper stripping length, twisting technique if required, and any other specific instructions provided with the connector. Thirdly, the connection must be mechanically and electrically sound. A properly made connection should be tight, with good contact between the conductors, and should not loosen over time due to vibration or thermal cycling. Now let's consider the bug nuts mentioned. These are typically split bolt connectors or other types of compression connectors. These connectors are often used for larger conductors or in situations where a very robust connection is needed. They can be suitable for number 6 AWG and larger conductors, but their suitability still depends on their listing and the specific application. Split bolt connectors are commonly used for copper-to-copper connections, copper-to-aluminum connections if they are properly rated, and for providing a very robust mechanical connection. They need to be properly insulated after installation using insulating tape or insulating boots designed for that purpose. To determine if the Scotch lock connectors are acceptable, check the connector's listing information. This information is typically printed on the connector itself or available in the manufacturer's specifications. Look for the range of conductor sizes and types for which the connector is listed. If the number 6 AWG XHHW wire falls within the listed range and the connector is suitable for the environmental conditions which include outdoor exposure, then it is likely an acceptable splicing method, provided it's installed correctly. Factors influencing the choice of connector include firstly, the environment. Outdoor installations require connectors listed for wet locations or direct burial as applicable. These connectors are designed to withstand moisture, corrosion, and other environmental factors. Secondly, the conductor material. Copper and aluminum conductors require different types of connectors. Using the wrong connector can lead to corrosion and connection failure. Thirdly, the accessibility of the connection. Some connectors are easier to install and inspect than others. The choice may depend on the accessibility of the splice location. Fourthly, the required ampacity. The connector must be rated for the ampacity of the circuit. The ampacity of number 6 AWG XHHW wire depends on the temperature rating of the conductor and the installation conditions, as per NEC Table 310.16. However, the connector should be rated to handle the current flowing through the conductor. In summary, the NEC doesn't have a blanket prohibition on using wire nuts for number 6 AWG wire. The acceptability depends on the connector's listing, suitability for the environment, and proper installation. The consultant's statement might stem from a preference for split bolt connectors in certain situations or a concern about the long-term reliability of wire nut connections in harsh environments. However, a listed and properly installed wire nut connector can be a code-compliant solution for splicing number 6 AWG wire. To verify compliance, firstly, inspect the connector's listing to ensure it's rated for number 6 AWG XHHW wire and outdoor use. Secondly, confirm that the installation complies with the manufacturer's instructions. Thirdly, ensure the connection is mechanically and electrically sound. If these conditions are met, the wire nut splices are likely acceptable under the NEC. If there is doubt, consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer for a definitive ruling based on the specific installation and local codes. The NEC provides guidelines and requirements for electrical installations to ensure safety and proper functionality. It is important to refer to the latest edition of the NEC and any applicable local amendments to ensure compliance. For example, NEC Section 110.3 B states that listed or labeled equipment shall be installed and used in accordance with any instructions included in the listing or labeling. This underscores the importance of following the manufacturer's instructions for any electrical component, including wire connectors. Also, NEC Section 300.15 covers boxes or fittings where required, stating that a box shall be installed at each outlet and switch point for the connection of conductors. While this section primarily addresses the use of boxes, it indirectly relates to the type of connectors used within those boxes or enclosures. The choice of connector should facilitate a safe and reliable connection within the confines of the enclosure. Furthermore, NEC Section 314.16 provides requirements for the number of conductors allowed in a box. It's essential to ensure that the enclosure housing the wire splices is of adequate size to accommodate the conductors and connectors without overcrowding, which could lead to overheating or damage to the insulation. When dealing with outdoor installations, NEC Section 314.15 addresses damp or wet locations. It stipulates that boxes, conduit bodies, or fittings installed in wet locations shall be approved for the purpose. This means that the enclosures and connectors used in the pole light installation must be specifically designed and listed for wet locations to prevent moisture ingress and corrosion. Additional considerations may involve the specific requirements of the local jurisdiction or utility company. Some areas may have stricter interpretations or additional requirements beyond the NEC. It's always prudent to consult with local authorities or a qualified electrical inspector to ensure full compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Furthermore, it is worth noting that the long-term reliability of electrical connections can be affected by various factors, including temperature variations, vibration, and the presence of corrosive elements. While a properly installed wire nut connector may meet the minimum code requirements, some engineers or consultants may prefer to use compression connectors or other more robust splicing methods in critical applications or harsh environments to enhance long-term reliability and minimize the risk of connection failures. In conclusion, the acceptability of wire nut connectors for number 6 AWG wire depends on several factors, including the connector's listing, the installation environment, and adherence to manufacturer's instructions and relevant code requirements. While the NEC does not explicitly prohibit the use of wire nuts for this conductor size, it is essential to ensure that the selected connector is suitable for the specific application and installed correctly to ensure a safe and reliable electrical connection. Always prioritize safety and compliance with all applicable codes and regulations.